There's someone behind us! Someone behind us!
Okay, they've just put our window through. They've just put... Ah! Police! 999! No!
Wow. Holy crap!
They went into the woods alone. They weren't. Deer with exposed spines still walking. Shadows moving on two legs through the trees. Creatures watching from the darkness. Bears charging when you thought you were tracking moose. Sounds that don't match any animal you know. Figures standing behind trees you never saw in person. Tonight, we take a look at the most disturbing hunting encounters ever caught on camera. Real footage of hunters and outdoorsmen who discovered that some things in the wilderness don't want to be found, and the forests are never as empty as they seem. In February 2018, wildlife activists with North Cam's Hunt Sabs were documenting a hunt in the English countryside, when what started as routine observation turned into a terrifying chase that would be captured entirely on their dashboard camera. They were following the hunt vehicles along a country road south of Luton, recording license plates and positions as they always did during their monitoring operations.
673YO, and we've got a silver Land Rover behind me, registration N70JGA, and there's also a grey Range Rover driving cross country aggressively after us.
But then the vehicles started driving aggressively. A silver Land Rover and grey Range Rover began closing in on them, their intentions becoming clear as they moved to box them in.
X08JUT as well, and they're aggressively driving to ram us.
Don't let him. Keep over.
I'm immediately on the road south.
The hunt supporters started ramming their vehicle, blocking them on the narrow country road with nowhere to escape. Then came the collision.
Keep over.
It's actually an unnamed country road, and there's just been a collision.
Right,
Backwards, go!
Right, no, there's someone behind us! Someone behind us!
Just go around. Okay, they've just put our window through. They've just put...
Panic erupted inside the car as they realized this wasn't just intimidation anymore. Someone was behind them. Someone was coming at them from multiple directions.
They've just put... Police! 999! Now! Yeah, sorry, I'm being attacked by several vehicles. We've got it all on camcorder. We're having some legal scene. We're going to drive to Huntingdon Police Station now. I can't. We're being attacked. I'm driving to Luton, and we're going to head to Huntingdon Police Station.
The chase continued for miles as they raced toward Huntingdon Police Station, their camera capturing every moment of the pursuit through the narrow English country roads. On those isolated country roads, far from witnesses, they learned that some people don't want cameras pointed their direction, and they're willing to use their vehicles as weapons to make sure no one sees what happens in the fields where the hunt rides. In November 2020, Minnesota fishermen set out for what should have been a peaceful morning of trout fishing in southern Minnesota, but what one of them encountered along that remote creek would haunt him long after he left. They woke up before dawn and made the long drive south, ready for a quiet day of nymphing for trout in the deep pools. But as one of them made his way along the creek bank, he stumbled upon something that made him freeze. A deer stood right in front of him.
Check out this freaking doe that I just ran across. It's literally bedded down here. This thing is destroyed. Its tongue's hanging.
The moment he saw it clearly, he realized something was horrifically wrong. This wasn't a normal deer. It was a zombie deer, destroyed and wrecked with its tongue hanging out, looking like something that should be dead but wasn't.
Yeah, like this thing is... This thing is wrecked. Must have got hit by a car or something. Hope it doesn't like... Look at this thing. It is beat up. My gosh. Well, that's pretty crazy. That thing just straight up looks like a mutant. Its tongue was hanging out. Yeesh. Wouldn't like to run into that thing. Jeez.
The animal looked like a mutant, so beat up and unnatural that he couldn't comprehend how it was still breathing, still watching him with eyes that seemed wrong. He backed away slowly, his fishing trip forgotten as he tried to process what he'd just encountered in those isolated woods. The footage from these encounters is piling up across the country, trail cams and phones capturing deer that exist in states between life and death. Chronic wasting disease, brain parasites, unknown infections, whatever is causing this is spreading, and these animals keep moving through the woods and fields like living corpses. The question isn't just what's wrong with them anymore, it's how many more are out there, walking through the darkness with exposed spines and twisted necks, and what happens when there are too many to ignore. In July 2025, a Russian hunter set out with his dogs, tracking what he believed was a moose through dense forest. But what happened when he finally closed in on his target would turn into a split-second fight for survival. He'd already taken down one moose with his team earlier that day, but his dogs had picked up another trail 3.5 kilometers away, heading straight back toward them. The navigator wasn't showing clear signals, and he couldn't tell if the dogs were actually working an animal or just running, but then they stopped about 1 kilometer out, and he knew they'd found something. The dogs started coming to him one by one as he got closer, checking in like they always did when they sensed he was near. Then something happened that he did not expect.
Подходить ко мне и показываться. Когда они услышали, почуяли, что я рядом, они по очереди по одной стали проходить и проверяться. А после произошло то, чего я не ожидал.
A bear charged straight at him from the brush, and he had no time to think, only to shoot. But as soon as the first bear dropped, he saw a movement that made his blood run cold. A second bear was running out, coming directly at him with massive jumps. His hands were shaking, fear flooding through him as he realized he had no choice but to fire again or risk being mauled in those isolated woods. When it was over, he stood there in shock, his whole body trembling as the adrenaline finally released its grip and he processed what had just happened. Some mistakes in the wilderness don't give you a second chance, and that day in the Russian forest, one hunter learned that what you think you're hunting isn't always what's hunting back. In December 2025, a hunter posted footage that shows exactly how fast a hog hunt can turn into a fight for survival. He took his shot at a wild boar in snowy terrain near a cliff edge, but something went wrong with that first round. The boar didn't run, instead it did something that made his blood run cold. Then his weapon failed him at the worst possible moment, leaving him defenseless as the animal closed the distance. He was trapped between what was coming at him and a cliff edge behind him, with no time to think and nowhere to go. What happened in those 11 seconds came down to split-second decisions and the cameraman's quick reaction. In May 2015, Michael Mossy and his guide Charles were hunting brown bear in Alaska, spending days tracking through sand dunes looking for the perfect opportunity. But what started as a carefully planned stalk would end in 8 terrifying seconds that neither of them would ever forget. They'd been working the area for days, studying bear sign and waiting for the right conditions to make their move.
So this is a good area to stalk into, and I think we need to really come back in here in the morning and start looking, get in here early. We got a little storm coming in here tomorrow, but we can come back in here in the morning and work into the wind and just see what we pick up.
Yeah. like a good area. We really stuck with the area of the sand dunes where there were a lot of...
Finally, they spotted a boar and closed to within bow range. But the gusting wind made the shot too risky, so they made the decision to use the rifle instead.
Got an opportunity, spotted a bear, moved into position. As we made our approach, we got close to this brown bear. We got within good bow range, but made the decision it wasn't a safe shot to take. That gusting wind, it's just too difficult to hold a bow stable enough. I wasn't confident in those conditions, so we made the decision to take the animal with the rifle.
Michael took the shot, the bear dropped, and for a moment, everything seemed perfect. But then something appeared that made his blood freeze, movement cresting over a sand dune that shouldn't have been there. A sow with cubs had been hidden behind the dunes the entire time, and now she was coming straight at them like a freight train.
Well, as soon as the bear that I took dropped, my focus left that bear and scanned the area, and immediately I saw the sow and the cub crest over the top of this mound. The sow is moving right at us, Charles.
Hey! Hey! You're gonna get me, man.
I know.
I'm gonna get that on video.
They started yelling, waving, trying everything to stop her charge, but it only made her lock onto them harder. Charles let her come as close as he dared, his rifle raised, watching her close the distance with terrifying speed. 8 yards. That's how close she got before he had no choice left.
Look at us. She came like
Immediately.
She's upwind, so she can't smell us, but she knows something's bad wrong, and she's coming like a freight train. And I let her come, and we're hollering, and I let her get as close as I dared, but she was looking me right in the eye. I mean, she had me pegged.
I mean, 8
I
yards.
waited till she was 8 yards, and at 8 yards, I had to take her right then.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but I mean, that's a skill and an ability you have to have hunting these animals. I mean, this is dangerous business.
In August 2020, YouTuber Danny Statton was outside his South Carolina home at night when he spotted something that made him grab his camera and his weapon, something big running across the road that didn't move like any animal he'd seen before. He was filming the moon when movement caught his eye, something large crossing the road in the darkness, moving upright but wrong somehow.
Across the fucking road down here. And now I'm seeing something else down here, even though it's small. You see that, you two? I'm seeing something small right over there.
What he saw didn't look like a Sasquatch. It looked like something else entirely, something he described as a Dogman, and it freaked him out enough to start following it. He tracked the sounds through his neighborhood, hearing something moving in the darkness that led him toward his neighbor's yard.
Oh, here's something. Hold on. It's coming from down this way. This way. What the? Can you see that, you two? A black shape. Right in there.
The creature started making sounds that he'd never heard before, guttural noises that reminded him of Jurassic Park, angry and primal. He got a clear look at the face as it moved, and what he saw wasn't a bear, wasn't a Bigfoot. It was something in between that defied explanation.
But the face looked more like a dog or a bear than it did a Bigfoot. I got a good look at the face as it ran. It was freaky. That is crazy as
Then the creature went silent, and that's when real fear set in, because silence meant it might be circling him in the darkness. He backed into the light, watching as a shadow finally moved off down the road, leaving his area after what felt like an eternity of standoff.
Let me get over here in the light. I don't want nothing coming up on my dark side. When things go quiet, you get worried in those Now, whatever it is moving off. I can see a shadow down that way. Can you see it? It's headed off. It's headed off. It's headed off down the road. It's going down the road. I see it going down the road. Okay, it's leaving my area. I think I scared it. It must have heard me talking. I'm sorry. Well, YouTube, you be the judge. Dogman, Bigfoot, or freaking bear. You tell me what the that was. Jurassic Park dinosaur sounded something.
To this day, the footage remains unexplained. Dogman, Bigfoot, bear, or something else entirely. Danny got a good look at its face in those South Carolina woods, and whatever it was, it didn't match anything that's supposed to exist. A trail camera in the woods captured footage that stopped hunters cold when they reviewed it. A deer walking through frame with half its back missing, the spine exposed, flesh gone, yet it moved through the forest like nothing was wrong. Another video shows a deer emerging from the bushes with its neck broken and twisted at an unnatural angle, the head hanging crooked, but still the animal walks, still it feeds. One driver spotted something beside the road that made them pull over and film, a deer covered in massive lumps across its entire body, grotesque growths that should have brought it down. Yet there it stood, watching traffic pass with eyes that seemed too aware. A farmer has been documenting something even more disturbing on his property, a deer that appears repeatedly, always with its head locked in the same crooked position, unable to straighten its neck, but otherwise seeming healthy, walking in straight lines, surviving despite the twisted angle of its skull.
What is wrong with you?
In February 2016, a hunter in the Czechoslovakian woods heard something in the distance that made him go deeper into the forest than he'd ever gone before, following sounds that didn't match any animal he knew. He pushed south, moving through dense woodland as the strange noises continued, drawing him further from his vehicle and deeper into territory he'd never explored. Then he found something in the mud that made him stop cold, footprints that were far too large to belong to any person, pressed deep into the soft ground. But as he went deeper, something changed in the atmosphere around him, an oppressive feeling that settled over the forest like a weight. The aura was so intense, so wrong, that he finally made the decision to get out while he still could. That's when he heard it, a howl unlike anything he'd encountered in years of hunting these woods, close enough that he knew whatever made it was right there with him. He ran back toward his car, the howling following him through the forest as he crashed through the undergrowth. The hunter made it out that day, but the footage and audio he captured raises questions that still haven't been answered. What left those massive footprints in the Czechoslovakian mud? What made those sounds that lured him deeper into the forest? Some parts of the old European forests have been untouched for centuries, and maybe there's a reason the locals stay away from certain areas where the trees grow thick and the howling doesn't sound like wolves. In March 2012, two friends were night fishing in Bishopville, South Carolina when they captured footage of something that would haunt them long after they left the water. They'd grown up in Bishopville, fished these spots their entire lives, but that night something appeared that they'd never seen before.
You think that was a coyote? What do you think that was? What was it? Do you see it? Where? Whoa! Holy crap! Holy...
The creature moved through their fishing spot as they watched in shock, trying to process what they were seeing in the beam of their light. Bishopville has its legends about creatures in the swamps, but seeing something tall, bipedal, and covered in spikes makes those stories feel less like folklore and more like warnings. In April 2018, two men foraging in the forests of Hokkaido Province, Japan, were driving along a woodland road when something exploded from the trees that would test their reaction time and their vehicle's durability. They were moving slowly through the forest, searching for mushrooms and wild plants, when a massive bear suddenly charged directly at their car. The mother bear slammed into the vehicle with enough force to crack the front mirror, her rage focused entirely on the threat she perceived. The driver hit the accelerator and pulled away as the enraged mother continued her assault, her protective instinct overriding any fear of the vehicle. The cracked mirror tells the story of how close they came to something far worse. Come between a mother bear and her cub, even accidentally in a car, and she won't hesitate to attack. Those seconds of dashcam footage captured the moment two foragers learned that nowhere is safe when you accidentally cross the wrong line in bear territory. In September 2009, four friends were filming in the woods when they captured something in the background that they never noticed while recording. They were messing around, taking pictures and videos, just fooling around in the forest like they'd done countless times before. But as the camera panned, something appeared behind one of them, a black figure standing behind a tree, perfectly still. One of them noticed it while filming, his voice changing from playful to deadly serious as he tried to make the others see what was there.
What the hell is that? Behind you! I'm being serious, there was something there. There was!
The figure remained motionless in the frame, dark and silent among the trees where they thought they were alone. The footage raises a simple question. What was standing behind that tree, watching them? When you review footage and find something you never saw in person, you have to wonder what else watches from the woods while we convince ourselves we're alone. In late 2024, a Canadian hunter was out in the middle of the night near his remote forest cabin, doing what he'd done countless times before, scanning the tree line for game in the darkness. He lived alone in that cabin deep in the woods, far from any neighbors or roads, and night hunting had become routine for him over the years.
Do a quick scan of the forest. I'm going to try my best to see if I can see anything in the distance, but if there's anything you can see, let me know.
He was slowly panning his camera across the distant trees, narrating calmly as he searched for any movement in the shadows, when something appeared that made his voice catch in his throat.
A quick scan of the forest. I'm gonna try my best to...
What the heck was that? What the heck was that? Look it!
Whatever he saw moving through those trees wasn't walking upright like a person should, and it wasn't moving on all fours like an animal either. The footage cuts off at the moment of realization, panic clear in his voice as he tried to process what he was seeing in the darkness near his isolated cabin. On November 6th, 2025, YouTuber Into the Wild, real name Frank, uploaded a video that was meant to document a hiking trip with his friend Don in the mountains of Alberta, Canada. But just when Frank expected everything to go as planned and meet Don at their agreed-upon location, something completely unexpected happened.
Not that far from me.
Dawn? Dawn? Hey! Is that you?
What he couldn't have known then was that this decision would become one of the worst he'd ever make, as he had no idea what awaited him in the forest. To this day, it remains a mystery what attacked him, why the creature created so many shelters, or whether multiple beings were involved. On March 8, 2020, a YouTuber and hunter living near a forest suddenly heard strange noises outside his house. At first, he tried to ignore them, but they kept coming, growing sharper and more unsettling each time. That's when he finally decided to step out into the cold night air and decided to explore the area around.
My kid's screaming. No, came from over there, and now it's out there.
When taking a closer look and pausing the footage, 2 faint glowing eyes can be seen stalking him from the distance. Could that have been the thing that screamed at him? What's unsettling is that he didn't seem to notice the figure at all in the moment, so he kept exploring, unaware of what was watching him. He ventured deeper into the forest, the darkness closing in around him, only to later discover that he was walking straight into serious trouble.
It's also a full moon tonight. I didn't grab the flashlight, I was in such a hurry to get out here, so. And the snow is over my knees. I heard it. My house is just over there, 100 yards. And I went out on the back deck because Tom texted me and said, I'm having a fire, do you want to come over? So I went to take a picture of the fire for him to say no, I wasn't coming over. And I heard the screaming. I thought it was his kids playing. Hold on, wait there, Jen, just wait. I want to get a clean recording of this without us moving. Let's just stand here for 5 minutes because we keep moving. I'm pretty sure I got something on that last one. That's the 4th time we've heard this.
Mm-hmm.
You hear that? So there's the fire over Tom's place. They're pretty loud over there, so I don't know if that's going to pollute my recordings. If this thing starts up again, you'll know it was loud. I could hear it from the deck. It was like kids screaming and playing. Or fighting. I thought maybe they were fighting too. So I'm not sure what this is. It could be an animal. Here right now.
Even his own neighbor, who heard the sounds firsthand, commented under the video, joining the puzzled viewers. He said, "Neighbor Tom here. Sounds I heard tonight were nothing like I've heard before, and I've been here 15 years. Definitely not coyotes. Kinda weird high-pitched, but not yelps. Not like a dog or coyote." On February 12th, 2015, what began as a careful early morning elephant tracking mission took a sudden and dangerous turn. The trackers had been following fresh sign through the bush, moving quietly along a dry riverbed to stay hidden. But as they edged closer to the herd, everything changed.
Decide to back off. Here he comes. Hey, hey, hey! Hey! The rest of the herd charge. Not wanting to shoot in self-defense, we get out of there. And use the riverbed to get some open ground between us and the elephant. The herd don't press on with the charge, but mill around, trumpeting, making noise. When everything eventually goes quiet, we move in to see what happened.
The morning air was still when the elephant suddenly heard them approaching. Curious and showing clear signs of aggression, he stepped out from among the herd to investigate. The hunters froze, standing fully exposed in the open, while the elephant swayed his head, listening, testing the air, inching closer with every step. Then the situation escalated rapidly. With tension rising and nowhere to hide, the call was made to slowly back off. But the elephant reacted instantly, rushing toward them with a sudden burst of speed, and in moments, the rest of the herd joined in, surging forward in a powerful, chaotic mass. Not wanting to fire in self-defense unless absolutely necessary, the hunters sprinted out of the open and dropped back into the riverbed, using the terrain to put distance between themselves and the charging elephants. The herd didn't continue the full charge, but stayed nearby, trumpeting, milling around, and making it clear they weren't ready to let the intruders advance. Around 5 years ago, a hunter posted eerie footage capturing strange sounds he kept hearing late at night, usually between midnight and 3 a.m. He explained that he lives on a remote property in the Pacific Northwest of Canada and that these unsettling noises echo through the forest almost every night. What he recorded left many viewers wondering what exactly was out there in the darkness. To this day, people still speculate in the comments about what the sounds could be. While many believe it's simply a pack of coyotes, others suspect something far more unsettling, likening the noises to chilling screams echoing through the night. On January 23, 2024, a hunter reported hearing a pileated woodpecker giving its alarm call, something that usually means a predator is nearby. Moments later, he began hearing strange, unfamiliar noises echoing through the woods. He started recording immediately. According to him, it didn't sound like a lynx, a fox, or any animal he recognized. Instead, the calls were sharp, unsettling, and unlike anything he had ever heard in the area.
What the fuck was that? I heard some shit there.
12 years ago, on January 15, 2013, a hunter was deep in a snowy forest searching for game when he suddenly heard those unsettling, eerie noises echoing through the trees.
Oh, where they come from? We're in the middle of nowhere.
All around us.
Well, call me nuts, but I reckon that came from up there. But, well, unless the trees backed it down and... Oh, it's cold. Unless the trees made it echo, I don't know. I've never heard a sound like that before.
I don't like it.
It did have an element of eerie, isn't it? Yeah.
While many people joked about the sounds in the comments, others shared far more unsettling experiences. One person wrote, "I've heard something similar to that here in Finland, Tornio, but the sound was heard just once. It sounded like it came from the sky. And there's no mines, no nothing around here that could possibly make that sound. That was months ago though. Scary." In October 2019, a hunter deep in a Canadian forest recorded chilling screams unlike anything he had ever heard before. The sound was so strange and so unsettling that many people quickly began speculating in the comments, with some even suggesting Bigfoot. On January 21st, 2020, on the channel trailing the hunter's moon, hunter Blake Barnett found himself in a life-threatening situation. After several attempts to avoid the bear and scare it off, the black bear suddenly charged straight at him.
Hey, bear. And when we got up to move away from the bears, when the bear did catch our movement, as soon as he saw us, his behavior and demeanor had changed. This bear just looked at us different. And we started to back out. Aaron wolfed at him and kicked dirt at him and threw his arms up in the air. This bear squared up to us straight up. His hair stood up on his back.
With no time left and no other option, Blake was forced to shoot in order to protect not only himself, but also his guide and cameraman. It was one of those difficult, split-second decisions hunters sometimes find themselves faced with in the wild. 2023, a hunter was reportedly stalked for hours by a strange humanoid figure lurking in the shadows. As he said himself, these creatures have been terrorizing our home. We do not know what they are, but they don't seem friendly. We believe it could be some kind of cryptid or other unknown creature, possibly Sasquatch or Bigfoot, but more likely some other bizarre cryptid. We will keep doing further investigation to try to find out what this is and get rid of it so that we can enjoy our home again. This entire ordeal has been very strange. We never believed in cryptids or poltergeist and anything of that sort until now.
They're all over the damn place again tonight. Okay, I'm gonna keep walking towards it. Might actually get to capture something here. Son of a... All right, whatever you are, you need to leave. Stay out of this place. This is our home. This is our home. You need to leave. You leave now. I don't think it's going to come around for a little bit. I think that'll keep it away for a while. Oh, God. I hope that does it. I really do.
One evening, as a couple arrived home in Bladenboro, North Carolina, their dash cam captured something strange near their property, a creature that immediately rushed off into the woods. The footage shows the shadowy figure of what appears to be an unidentified cryptid.